Okay, it's recording.
All
Hey
right.
guys, Ray here. Today I got a special guest, my friend Tobin. He's a longtime friend, longtime photographer, and he's a full-time photographer. And I kind of was thinking about the show a lot, and I want to start interviewing people that are doing what they want for a living, and just seeing if there's stuff we can learn from them. What's up, Tobin?
Good. Thanks for having me on your show, Ray. I'm really excited to be here with you today.
Yeah, dude. So you're a full-time photographer.
Yes.
You've been getting photos published since you were a teenager.
Yeah, I first got my start in getting some skateboard photographs. I was really into photography and skateboarding, and getting a skateboard photograph published was the first time I ever my photographs ever got used, and also the first time I ever thought that being a photographer could be a job for me, because um, just because seeing the check, like, wow, my pictures got used for something and I got a check in my hands. All right, wow. If I do this a few times a month, or you know, however many times I needed to, I would have my bills paid. So it was a real kind of light bulb moment. And and I think then, like, right in the beginning, I was like doing construction jobs, and I was an electrician's assistant.
What?
I was in San Francisco, and my stepfather did construction and knew a lot of tradesmen, and that was a job that I could learn and get into, because I wasn't interested in going to college, or I didn't have any kind of interest except photography and skateboarding. And my parents were a little worried that I wasn't going to make it as a photographer, because I think in their mind, photographer was this big job where you had to go to college to learn all the knowledge to get that, to be able to do that job. But I think with skateboard photography, it was really a matter of being knowing the right people and being in the right places and being able to, like many types of photography that's used for a magazine. It's like being in the right place to gather those photographs or make those images, and then being able to give it to a magazine. And I don't know. So
Very, very cool. So at one point you're shooting your friend skateboarding, and then the next minute you're shooting some like ads for skateboarding, and then you also do a lot of commercial work. How did that crossover happen?
well, uh, for the action shots I was doing in the beginning, those that were used for magazines were, I was paid like a very small amount of money, um, or maybe it was like $100. And if the same photographs were used for an advertisement, it was like $200. And the way it kind of works is, the bigger the company um, is, the more use that they're getting out of your images to sell their product, right? If a company is very small and just starting out, obviously they're not going to be making a lot of profit off your images that they're buying from you to advertise their product. But the bigger the company is, especially, like, I think in skateboarding, it's like, it used to be shoe companies were the biggest. Now it seems like energy drinks are the biggest. And I'm not even in skateboarding like every day. I don't shoot skateboarding every day anymore. Um, but when I was starting out, the difference between an editorial job and a commercial job was really just in the way it was being used or who was using the photograph. Like Duff Shoe Company would buy a photograph for, like, back in the 90s, maybe like, I don't know, oh, like $800 maybe, or something like that. Now it's probably really small now, but that was a lot more than an editorial photograph. Like when I first started out, like late 80s, it was like $80 for like a full page photo, which is great, but it's no way to make a living like as a freelance photographer. So I really had to focus on advertisements, because I never had a staff job at a magazine. I never was paid like a salary or anything. I was always per photo, paid per photo.
You were
So
never on a retainer?
a little bit. Like I had Big Brother magazine. They paid
Yeah.
me like $500 a month just to keep me on this like little retainer thing. And then Anti-Hero Skateboards for 1 year, $500 a month. And that was just kind of like something to have to stay in there and photograph all the time. But other than that, I was just really able to bounce around and try different things because I never had a steady job or like a singular job. So that was fun. And I think like I somewhere along the line I got to meet people that work for different organizations, and you know if they saw something that I was doing that they could use, you know if they were doing some advertisements and they saw that I could shoot the photos for that, then that's how I would be able to get a job like maybe a bigger commercial job. That's how I was able to do that. It's really just one thing leads to another, I think. Yeah, that's how it happened for me.
I can see that. This stuff is interesting to me. I work with a lot of younger photographers, you know, and that's the question. I think for a lot of people is how to transition from hobby to profession.
Yeah. You know what I think it is? Like as far as I think it's a lot of research. Like if you don't know the people that you need to know those people for them to hire you. If you don't know them, it's a lot of research in figuring out what their address is, what their email address is maybe, or where they are. If they're in your city, it's a little bit easier and you can figure out like, oh, they're on 555 Folsom Street. They're right there. I don't know them, but if I send them maybe images that I shot, like maybe send them something that's, you know, they're not going to get pissed off at me for sending them and showing my work, then just, you know, just like showing people your images that the people that you want to work with. Right. I think that's a real tangible way of at least trying to work for them. And they could always just be like, you know, I don't like your photos and I'm not going to hire you, or they could hire you, or you couldn't. Like, I think what happens a lot is you get radio silence. Like they don't talk to you, they don't respond. And the best case scenario, they might not respond for a long time, but then they start to notice your work and you're consistent in sending them your work and showing them your work, or maybe they see it in a few different places. And I think when someone that is in the position to hire a photographer, you know, sees a name or images in a few different places, maybe their friend talks about those photographs, and they begin to like think about you more, and then I think you get closer to being like hired.
Very cool. So what kind of jobs are you working on now? I know you shot some stills for some films.
Yeah. I've been really liking shooting film stills.
Yeah, that's like a dream job. Well, when I think of like some of my favorite movies teaming up with, or some of my favorite photographers working on some of the sets of my favorite movies, you know, like Mary Ellen Mark shot all the stills for Apocalypse Now, and those photos are so great. It just seems like a great job.
Yeah, that's kind of amazing. That I love Mary Ellen Mark's work, and I have her book. I think it's Behind the Scenes.
Oh,
and
she shot a bunch of movies, right? Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that book, but that sounds cool.
It's an amazing book, and Mary Ellen Mark is such an amazing photographer, and she's like an inspiration to me in that she shoots film stills, and she also gets really great behind the scenes photographs of like the director and the actors. And
yeah,
I think most of that book is that type of work. It's like behind the scenes photographs, which is really what you want to see, because you've already seen the film.
Yeah,
It's the way the film is the way it is. So you really want to see like this like moment behind the scenes with the actors and the director and stuff. It's really cool. So I really like that a lot.
So how did you start shooting that stuff?
Well, I got like over 20 years ago, I got an opportunity to shoot stills on Larry Clark's second movie, Another Day in Paradise. And I didn't know anything about shooting stills. I knew the director and he gave me the job. So I went and I got a blimp for my camera. I had like a Nikon F5. And I went and I ordered a blimp. It was like a couple $1,000 or like $1,500 maybe. And I figured out how to use that. And I never met another still photographer. So I didn't know how to shoot. I didn't know what the job was about other than what the producers told me I had to do. And it was the first day on set. I met Melanie Griffith, and the producer introduced me. At first, I didn't know that I had to go introduce myself to the actors. I didn't know that there might be any sensitivity between, who's this guy with a camera shooting my photo. I didn't know that there might be. I thought it was just like another crew member and I just shot. I didn't know. I was completely ignorant of any kind of social.
Seems like that would be the producer's job, right? To introduce you to the whole set and crew.
Yeah, it seems like that would be the case, but I think as I learn more about being a still photographer, you really have to take it into your own. You're really your own person on the set. Your boss is the producer, but you're really left to your own devices, and that there's no direct boss. Like the camera department has like the DP is the boss, right? And then you have the first AC is the next in line. It's very military like. Then there's a second AC and second AC and and loader on down to the loader, right? And so it's a chain of command, and they're all working with each other. But the still photographer, although the still photographer is in the camera department technically, the still photographer is really on their own, and it's just they're doing their job on their own, and they report to the producer. But yeah, the producer on my first day on set of Another Day in Paradise, he introduced me to Melanie Griffith, and she's like smoking a cigarette. She's like, "Just stay out of my fucking face."
What?
And for me, it was my first day, and it was so funny to me that she would say that to me. I'm like, what?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, I mean, she was kind of like being tough, and like, and just not liking photographers. I don't think she liked them, but I made a lot of mistakes on that first movie, and
did they use your stills for promotion stuff?
Yeah, they used my stills for the poster and for promotion. And one thing I learned is that still photographers have a reputation of being pushed around, I guess, or I don't know. People have these like, I don't know. People like, I remember Grip told me, he's like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh, I usually just call you guys. I think I introduced myself to him or something. He's like, oh, I usually call you guys, get out of my way, or something like that.
Oh my God.
Super rude. Yeah.
I feel like from what I've been asking around since I moved to LA, I'm asking everybody I know that works in production, like, how do you get these still photography jobs? And it seems like such a coveted job. Like these directors and producers work with the same guy for 50 years.
Yeah.
Or they're working for free on some indie film.
Yeah.
And maybe those are the guys that get shit on. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. But I think I went to a year ago. I got a chance to work on a film called Mid-90s, and it was really fun to work on. Jonah Hill directed it, and through that, I got to join the cinematography union, and I've since done one other feature film, and I'm looking for my next feature film to do or TV show. And what I was able to after joining the union, I was able to take they have classes just like they're new or just to kind of just to learn more about still photography and being a still photographer. So I took this workshop. It only lasted like 3 hours, but I learned so much. Just the two photographers that were teaching it were just like had a lot of great insight. Like one thing I always do now is I always go up and introduce myself to the actors and just let them know I'm here to make them look good. I'm here to take great photographs of them and not just, I'm here to work with them. So,
That's cool.
just let me know if you're doing a scene, you don't want, me to shoot a photo, let me know. And I find that like personal rapport with the actors really helps like get great photographs. And
Yeah, I'm sure. And there's probably like tons of etiquette that we don't know about. For example, are you shooting while the camera's rolling?
yes, yeah, still photographer shoots when the camera's rolling. Um, and they either have a blimp on their camera to silence the camera, or they have a mirrorless camera that doesn't make any noise.
People don't. Some people don't know what a blimp is. Do you have yours?
Yeah, I'll show you a blimp. This is a blimp I just got like for mid-90s on like a year and a half ago, and it's an Aquatech blimp. So it's it's made by a company that makes underwater housings. So that's what
crazy.
It looks like that, but it's really cool because it's really ergonomic. Like has like hand holes, so you can like just hold your hands in, and I got on the I'll show you, like it's really just, this is a Canon Mark III. It just has a 24-70 zoom lens on it.
So no sound comes out at all.
No, I mean a little bit, but not enough to register for the sound mixer. So here, I think I have it on. Like, so you can hear it a little bit with it open, and then closed. You can't hear it.
Oh yeah.
It's shooting, you can't hear it. But yeah, this is the blimp.
Very cool.
Yeah, and it's a beast. It's kind of a beast, and this is with a 24-70 on it, and then the other lens that is just the 80-200, and that's a beast. It's pretty heavy to hang, like lug around all day.
Did you ever shoot any of it at 200? Like, do you need to go out that far away?
200 millimeter lens? Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's, I think on probably most movie stills you see are at 80-200 or 70-200 lens.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It seems like it because, really like whatever action is going on, whatever scene is going on, the camera department is pretty big, and there's the camera, and there's all the assistant camera people, and they're all around it. Think of that. And there's so really like an 80-200 is really a nice way to, like, you can zoom in and you can get a nice tight headshot of an actor. And I don't know, it just depends on what scene, what's happening. But I think I use that lens a lot.
I guess that's another thing to worry about, right? Navigating that whole crew, lighting and cords and
yeah. The one thing, I think the most important thing to remember being a still photographer is that every relationship on the crew is important. Like everyone, like doesn't matter if it's the director is no different from the props person or you obviously want to just treat everyone with respect and just have a nice relationship with everyone. And the reason why is it's so crowded. So oftentimes, like, unless you're shooting on a soundstage where there's plenty of room and everyone can spread out. But most of the films I've worked on are on location, and you're in a house, like shooting in a bathroom. It's like, and the thing with films is the less time that we have to get the shot, the higher the stress level. Right. And it goes from the first AD is really in charge of making the day, and making the day is just being on time for the getting every shot. And if we're not on time and we're behind, then the stress level starts going up,
Right.
and you really need to like be friends with everyone and just be nice and cordial. Like I just need to be nice and cordial and just be like, hey, after the scene, can I get one shot? Like one shot. If I'm not able to be in there on the scene during the shot, then I just need to zip in, have the actor do this, like have this go through the same scene again, or just since it's a still, just like if there's two actors, they just need to be talking to each other, and you just need to shoot a photo, get good photos, and then bounce out.
Right. So you kind of have to stick your head in there before they break that scene up, huh?
Yeah, it's really, you don't know when the director is going to get a shot and tell the crew to move on. So you have to be waiting there right next to the first AD. So when the director says, "Yeah, that's enough," then you've already set it up. I've already have eye contact with the first AD, and if he can give me the time to go in and shoot a photo, then I need to be there at that second to jump in and shoot a photo and get it and then bounce out.
What if you miss it? Like, what if you turn in all your photos at the end of the production, and they're like, "We love this bathroom scene, but there's no still of it."
Yeah, that's pretty bad. You can't miss it. You need to get every shot.
You do, huh?
You do, and there's a lot of shots. Like say there's one scene in a bathroom, there might be four different angles in that bathroom. So you really have to read what the best still angle is and make sure to cover that. There's other angles that are like a close up on the hand and the toothbrush that obviously you don't need, or something like that. But um, it's really just like reading the script and figuring out how many shots are going to be made in that scene and what the most important one for stills is.
So, do you have your own notes in the script,
No, but
like a shot list in your head, kind of?
No, but ideally, well, I do have a shot list. Like every day you get sides, which will be like just like a sheet of paper with the lines of the scenes that are being shot of that day. And so you can really get a good idea, like in the morning, of like what scenes are going to be really like dramatic, or what scenes are going to, show are going to be important for different actors. And ideally you want to get all the best scenes of each actor and show them in their all their glory being in the movie.
Can you are you allowed to talk about the union?
Yeah,
It's not like a secret fight club or something.
no, they have all their rules are written. You can read it on their website.
Oh, okay. So how did you get in?
I was able to get hired on a job before it went union, and then it went union. That's that, and then I was able to join the union after that.
Okay. So you kind of like got in there with a specific production.
Yeah, I was already on a film, and then it went union. That's one of the ways you can join the union.
So now that you're a union member, if you shoot, let's say I'm directing a film and I want you to shoot the stills on it, but there's no pay or no nothing, is that go? Does that go against like are you allowed to take that job?
I guess yeah, you can take non-union jobs, um, but yeah. So I mean, the whole reason why the union exists is to make sure that you're getting paid right, and you don't, you have breaks, and that if you have overtime, that you get paid for overtime. You know, um, a lot of I think the tragedy of a non-union job, or a job that doesn't have um, like a pay scale that involves like getting overtime, is that you might have worked in time, or maybe you work 14 or 15 hours, and you're like in your 15th hour or 14th hour, and you're just burning out and not getting compensated for it. So
It's kind of crazy to me how how these film productions go. Like, I don't understand why they need to work 20 hours a day for 8 months at a time. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
I
Yeah,
trip out.
I imagine it's to save money.
Does that save you money if you're paying everyone overtime?
Well, I don't. I'm not a producer, so I
Actually,
don't.
actually, you're saving money on the equipment rental.
Yeah, equipment rental and also location. Say if you rented a room in a hotel or like a big apartment building, and you're scheduled to be there for 3 days, and there's all different ways that you can your production can get slowed down. So say your production is getting slowed down, and you need to work an extra hour that day or an extra 2 hours that day that you hadn't anticipated. It's still less expensive to work an extra 2 hours than it is to make an extra day of shooting to be at that location. Like a whole day of shooting for a crew, like a film crew, is a pretty big expense, but a couple hours extra is a lot less.
I see what you're saying. It just seems like the production guys I know, anyways, it's not a couple hours over. It's like they'll work like 20 hours in every day for like 5 days. You know.
That's crazy. I've
Yeah.
never worked for 20 hours in a row.
I have in San Diego. I assisted on a film, just like an independent film. But yeah, dude, we had 2 or 3 days in a row where we worked 20 hours,
Wow, that's insane.
slept for 4 hours, and then back to work.
Wow, you dedicated.
So what else? What else are you working on? What do you
Well,
have any future projects?
yeah, I'm working on some. I'm working on a book or a couple books, and just kind of fleshing them out, just playing with layout and images, and pulling people together. I'm making one book right now where it involves other photographers, and and some of them are really responsive to phone calls, and
I know all about that.
yeah, it's really funny. So I'm just doing the best I can with what I need to do, and then make kind of just building that file full of images, and just pushing it to a place where it can look good, and be published and stuff. But otherwise, really, right now, it's like the holidays. We're right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's going to be in a week. I'm going to be with family for Christmas, and really just making phone calls, and sending out like not job applications, but just like calling all the people and emailing people that I want to work with,
Oh,
and, and kind of hopefully setting up my jobs for January.
that's cool. Do you do that every day? Is that something everyone should be doing every day?
I do it once a week, um, and I do it once a week, and um, like every Tuesday, I do it, and it's just like work for myself. It's just a part of um, it's a part of the cycle of jobs. It's really just you're contacting people and you're saying, Ray, yeah, I want to work with you, Ray. You need a photographer, Ray? Come on.
Yeah.
Um, I'm available. I like what you do. Just checking in with you. I got if you got any job opening, if you need any photo shoots done for your hamburger eyes, let me know. It's really
Okay.
like that. I know you do the same thing.
Yeah. That's very cool. That's about half an hour or so. So I think we could wrap
Okay.
it up. Do you have any future predictions about culture, society?
Culture or society? I have a future prediction. I have a prediction for the future that this uh, this planet will keep evolving, and there's going to be plenty of good things that are going to happen. And there's always everyone loves to talk about the next ice age, and all the bad stuff that's happening, and that's true. there is all that stuff, but I don't know, at least for myself, I can predict that I'm just going to continue. Like my passions are um, energy and like, and and hopefully, or for myself at least, like I want to get an electric car someday. I know you do too.
Yeah, I do too, for sure.
Yeah, and I want my with the place where I live, I want it to be solar powered, and I want to be, um, just less handcuffed to like fossil fuels. I want our country and the world to be less like at the mercy of fossil fuels and just how it just pollutes our world. And I just think that the world's going to keep progressing. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of negative stuff is still going to happen and keep going on, but I'm just going to focus on the positive. That's my prediction.
That's a good attitude. Good attitude to have. And that kind of reminds me of an Einstein quote. What did he say? He said, the most important question you could ask yourself is, are you, I don't know how he worded it. Basically, he's asking is, you have to ask yourself, are you afraid of the universe, or is the universe, I'm totally fucking it up. Basically, he's like, choose fear or love.
Okay.
And he was speaking on the atomic age, right? Like if you believe the universe is against you, then you're going to create all these nuclear weapons.
Yes, right. Because because if you feel like the world is against you, you'll have to make those weapons to protect yourself.
Right. I'll look up that quote. I totally screwed that up, but whatever.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Here's a fact check. Did Einstein say, I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction?
No, it's like I think it starts off with like the most important question you could ask yourself. Okay, yeah, we got to get it right. Oh, here it is. The most important question you could ever ask is if the world is a friendly place.
Yeah, I like that.
That's it. It's very simple. I've made it more complicated than it had to be.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's it.
Well, on that Einstein quote,
Yeah.
thanks for having me on your show, Ray.
Thanks for coming on, Tobin. And talk to you soon.
Okay, you too. Let me take your picture for the internet.
Okay.
I have to get, okay, thank you.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, talk soon.
All right, you too, bye.